So for today's video, it's gonna be about 25 lessons at 25. And what are the lessons you've learned in your life at whatever age you're at? Just share your lessons in the comment section below so that we can interact about this. Hello guys, welcome back to the Binti Malu channel, and I am Binti Malu. If you have no idea who I am African, and this channel is a lifestyle channel, but we're mainly focusing on Africa and Africans. So if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, the subscribe button is down there, and click the bell as well so that you get notified whenever there's a new video. So for today's video, it's gonna be about 25 lessons at 25. I turned 25 in September, and it is a quarter life crisis, but at the same time I'm grateful for 25 years of life. And yeah, so let's just jump into this. Lesson number 1 was a smile costs nothing and means everything. Now those who know me know that I love smiling. Like, smiling is my therapy. I might be very sad, I might be pissed off, but I will smile. I don't think a day passes by whereby I don't laugh or smile, because it is just the way I am, and I feel like it has helped me so much, because at some situations that could have gone way bad, but just because of the fact that I could be happy and smile every now and then, it made it so much better. So being a smiler it costs you nothing, but you can see the difference just by that laughter or by that smile. Lesson number 2 was to take charge of your happiness, and this relates to the lesson number 1. If you depend on other people to make you happy, you will find out that most of the time you're either disappointed, or you are just, like, if you have expectations of other people, they'll tend to disappoint you more than you expect. So if you take charge of your own happiness and know that whatever you do, you need to make you happy, you need to be the source of your happiness, then the chances of you being disappointed are very less, because you can only depend on yourself. So take charge of your happiness. Don't let other people control your mood or your happiness, because at the end of the day, you're the only person who gets affected by it. Lesson number 3, and this might be a bit ish, but it is that it is not okay to disappoint yourself. And this is like, just from my experience, I have put myself in situations whereby I'd rather disappoint myself than disappoint people who believe in me. You might disappoint other people, and I think if they really care about you, they will come around and realize, disappointment is part of life. But when you disappoint yourself, that is like letting you down, and that's not fine. Put yourself first. It seems selfish, but you'll come to realize that if you don't disappoint yourself, if you do whatever makes you happy and not trying to please other people, you gain more from life and you live your life to the fullest. Don't disappoint yourself at the risk of other people. There is no need to impress others. Just be yourself, and those who accept you will accept you, and those who don't, let them keep moving. Lesson number 4 is mistakes are a great teacher. I cannot tell you the number of mistakes I've made in my life so far. I feel like more than half of my life has been mistakes, and I have learned so many things from mistakes. So my mistakes have taught me so much more than the things I've done right. Maybe some people can relate, maybe others can relate. Some try to avoid mistakes, but I am all about mistakes. I love mistakes because they might teach me the hard way, but it's a lesson that will stay with me for the rest of my life. Lesson number 5 relates to either 4 or 3, and that do's and don'ts should have a reason. Don't just do something because you're told to, or because they say that it's right. Do it because of a reason, and don't do something to please other people. That is not a valuable reason. If you're not going to do something, you should have a very good reason. Either it's because you feel like it's gonna affect you in a negative way, or it's going to impact your future in such and such a way. You can have reasons, but don't let the fact that you'll disappoint other people be the reason as to why you don't do some of the things. Do you guys understand me? Does anyone relate to what I'm trying to say? Lesson number 6 is happy friends, happy life. It's as easy as that. And I saw this quote that is, your tribe influences your vibe. Now, if you know my friends, or if you're my friend, you know that you're funny. All my friends are funny. Whenever we're together, we're cracking jokes. We are laughing all the time. We're just having a great time. And I guess that is because of that vibe I get from them. That's what keeps me like positive. I have some amazing friends, and they make me so happy. They're always cracking jokes. They lift me up whenever I am down. So that is why I am happy in life, because all my friends and my family. So happy friends, happy life. Happy family, happy life. Happy anything, happy life. Whoever you consider as most important to you, if they give you happiness, then you're in turn going to have a happy life, because they hold a high priority in your life. So just keep that in mind. Lesson number 8 is don't feel guilty about self-love. It is more than okay to love yourself. It is nothing to be ashamed of. So the topic about self-love, some people view it as being selfish. I was one of those people once upon a time. I felt like if I was loving myself, then that would take away the love I have for others. And although it doesn't make sense to some people, to me it made so much sense. I was like, I have this love within me, so why would I invest it on loving me instead of loving others? Others were more important than me. I didn't care about myself as much, whether I got disappointed or I wasn't in a good position in life. I was like, it's okay, life is gonna be good, it's gonna be okay, it's no need to worry about it, this is just life passing by. And this year is when I realized that it is time, you need to love yourself before you love other people. Learn to love yourself. When you love yourself, you learn to appreciate you, and whoever isn't treating you right, you can let them go in your life and just go towards people who are going to give you what you deserve and treat you the way you deserve. So self-love is a very essential thing, and I feel like it's something that should be encouraged and talked about all the time. Number 8 is forgive and forget, but never forget the lesson. Like if you make a mistake in life, or if someone hurts you, just forgive them. But don't keep yourself in a situation whereby they can do the same thing that they did to you before. Like you can forgive someone and forget what they do to you, just let go of the hold that they have on you, but don't give them a second chance to screw up again. You understand? Like learn from a lesson. Don't just forgive and keep moving and be like, okay, it never happened, and then the same thing keeps happening to you, keep forgiving. Forgive, keep moving, but remember what went wrong. Remember what led you to the point whereby you felt hurt that you needed to forgive someone. So always forgive. Forgiveness is a great thing, and it's not going to benefit the other person, it's going to benefit you more, because the more hatred you hold towards someone, the more it's like the anger is you it's affecting. It's not affecting the other person. Just because you hate someone doesn't mean that they're going to be sick or that their life is going to be miserable. It's only you who gets affected by so much hatred, and you waste so much time on the hate instead of spreading the love. So forgive people and forget the mistakes they made in your life, but don't forget the lesson it taught you in that life. Lesson number 9 is that your identity is key. Now, everybody knows I'm African. Like anywhere I go, if anybody asks me, I am African, I'm from Tanzania, there is nothing to hide about that. But I didn't see the importance of being African when I was younger until like I got to I think when I came to the United States, and that was in my early 20s, I think so. Yeah, my early 20s. I'm still in my early 20s, right? I'm in my mid 20s right now. But it was during my early 20s, and my identity was like, you know, when you're surrounded by Africans and all you know is Africans. Like I lived in Africa, and that's what I was exposed to. That was what was normal to me. I didn't have other cultures surrounding me as much to influence my life. But when I came here to the United States, it's like there was the American culture and there was my culture. And my culture didn't fit in as much as the American culture. So the time that it collided was something that I thought were definitely wrong in the American culture. It is just a normal thing. So I came to value my identity. I've always valued my identity, I believe. I've never been ashamed of being African. But I came to value my identity more when I got out of Africa, when I was away from my continent and from my country. And that is when I was so proud. I've never been as proud to be African as I am at this point in my life. Like when I came here, being African was the proudest thing. It's like the highest identity I have. Well, there is being Christian, but being African has been my core identity. It is something that represents who I am. It has had a big influence on what I am and my belief in life. So never get rid of your identity. Don't be ashamed of your identity. Yes, there's so many things that are wrong about Africa, but there's so much more that is right about Africa. So there's some negative aspects of Africa, and that's okay. That happens in every culture. I just value your identity, guys. Just there's no point. Don't think being Western is way better than being African, because you're not Western really. If you're African, you're African, and even as much as you try to be Western, you will never be Western. They will never accept you. And if you're just know your identity, guys. Just know your identity and stand firm by your identity. I am African, I am Christian, I am proud, I'm a lot of things. So yeah, just know your identity. For me, the two identities that I hold dear in my life is that I am Christian and I am African. So those are the two things that are that they're the core of my identity. It is what my identity is founded on. It is what I am, and it is who I am. Lesson number 10 is what works for others might not work for you, and you need to find your own path. It's as simple as that. Don't be in Kiswahili we say bendera fuata upepo. Just because people are doing things like this, you're also just going to be whoop, I'm also going to do the same thing. Do you understand? Just because it's working for other people doesn't mean that it will necessarily work for you. You need to find out what works for you. You need to find out your unique path and follow that path. Don't surround yourself. Don't think like just because it worked for someone else, it's supposed to work for you, and if it doesn't work for you the exact way to work for the other person, then you're doing it wrong. No, there are so many ways to get to one destination. So find your path and stick to it, and don't base your things on other people's life. Base it on your own life. Lesson number 11 is the tougher the choice, the greater the importance. And tough choices, they're the ones that make the greatest impact in your life, and they're the choices that are going to be life-changing. And coming from a person who doesn't like change as much, it becomes hard when change comes. Like the idea of change is just it's not an accepted idea in my life. I mean, I don't like change as much. I can deal with small changes, but I don't like drastic changes because it just keeps me off. Like I have to get adjusted again, and getting adjusted is not the easiest thing. But once you get through like the first phase of the change, or coming to accept that this is change and this is how my life is going to be like, it's going to make a greatest impact in your life. And don't be scared of making hard choices. Don't rush making hard choices. Take your time, and when the right time comes, just make the decision and stick to it. It might be the right choice, it might be the wrong choice, but at the end of the day, it's a decision you make and you're gonna learn from it. So hard choices, although they're hard, but they're of great importance. Lesson number 12 is exposure leads to more understanding. And if you've lived, how am I gonna say this? I'm just gonna try to understand what I'm trying to say, right? So if you've lived your whole life within your culture, like you've not been exposed to other cultures, some of the things that you do, you feel like that's the right way, and if someone does it a different way, then they're definitely wrong, or something is wrong with them. But the more you get exposed, the more you try to understand other people's perspectives, and the more open-minded you become. And just because you are exposed to other culture or other people doesn't mean you lose your identity. It just helps you to know. Sometimes it will enhance your fundamentals. Other times it will just help you realize, I've been doing this right, or it's okay for the other person to do that. It's their culture and there's no reason for me to judge. So I think the more exposed you are, the less judgmental you are. Lesson number 13 is a quote that I love. And quote says, your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. So live your life, like make your choices, make your mistakes, learn from them. Don't live someone else's life. Don't try to impress other people, because this is your life. You're the only one who's going to be accountable for your life. Whoever you're trying to impress, they will never be accountable for it. It's just going to be you and you alone. Just don't try to impress other people, or don't try to live someone else's life just to, I don't know, for whatever reason. Don't live someone else's life. Live your own and keep life moving. Some people will accept you, some people will judge you, but let them be. Lesson number 14 is compromises are necessary in a relationship. And if you're not ready to make compromises, then you're not ready to be in a relationship. I think I learned this the hard way. In every relationship, there needs to be a compromise. And if you feel like you're not ready to make a compromise, then don't get into a relationship. Because there are things you'll need to compromise on, and there are things you need your partner to compromise on. Whichever kind of relationship it is, be it a friendship, a love relationship, a marriage, everything needs a compromise. Just keep that in mind. Lesson number 15 is cutting off people. It's about cutting off people. Like, it's a necessary thing in life. Don't allow people to step on you. Don't allow people to treat you the wrong way. And as I said before, if you love yourself, you will know what your worth is and how you're supposed to be treated. And if someone doesn't treat you the right way, then just tell bye-bye to them. Tell them, deuces, I shall see you later. Because yeah, you need to respect you. You need to love yourself. And whoever doesn't love or respect you, just cut them off from your life. You don't need that type of negativity in your life. If there's anyone who brings negativity in your life, just cut them off. Because life is too short for you to be negative about everything, or to surround yourself with people who are negative. So cut off people who don't add positivity into your life, or who don't help you grow, who are always pulling you back, or just don't respect you, or who don't respect you for who and what you are. Lesson number 16 is that pain teaches you your worth. Like, the more painful experiences you have, the more you realize what your worth is. The more heartbreak you get, the more you come to notice what your worth is. Like, oh, it's okay. You're not okay right now, but you're eventually gonna be okay. Like, this person broke your heart, they trampled on you, like they just ruined your life. But the next relationship I'm in, I shall know, like, I'm not gonna let this person treat me the same way the other person did, or whatever. Like, the heartbreaks, they teach you so much. It's a painful experience, and it takes a long time to heal, but it teaches you so many things about what you are and what you're worth and what you can and cannot tolerate. So pain is a sad aspect in life, and it's painful. Nobody enjoys pain. Maybe some people do. But it teaches you your worth way more than you think. Like, you can look back in life and be like, okay, why did that person treat me like this? I'm never gonna let any other person in my life treat me the same way or make me feel the way I felt when I was with this person. So the pain will cause you it will help you know yourself. It will help you value yourself. It will help you realize what matters to you and what should not matter to you. Lesson number 17 is that there's always time for what you love. And do things that make you happy. Do things that you love. If you love something, you'll always make time for them. No matter how tired you are, no matter your responsibilities, no matter your situation, no matter your condition, if it's something you love, you always find time to do it. So it's a lesson I've always learned. Like, I enjoy creating videos, and I think I enjoy coding. That's why I can stay up until 2 or 3 a.m. either editing a video or just doing coding. So those are the things that I enjoy and think that, oh my gosh, it's a coyote. Oh goodness, it's a fox. A fox just went by. I need to finish this. So do things that make you happy, do things that you love, and yeah, you always find time for things that you love. I'm now a bit scared because I saw that coyote with a fox, and I'm not feeling so safe right now. So let me finish this quickly. Lesson number 18 is think before you write or talk, especially when you're pissed off. And I am the kind of person, I cannot control my words. And whenever I'm angry about something, hold on, I need to check my bag. And whenever I'm angry about something, I will let you know the first thing that comes to mind. And most of the time, these things are usually negative, like very negative, and they're very hurtful things. and then I'd have to go back and be like, hey, I was sorry, it's because of my anger and this and that, and I have to apologize about it. So whenever you're angry, don't write something and publish it. Write it for yourself and read through it and be like, okay, is it justified for me to say such things? Is it because of my anger, or is this how I truly feel? Don't just blabber things out when you're angry, because trust me, once you say something, you can never take it back, and the harm that it causes is way more than you can fix. Lesson number 19 is that expectations may lead to disappointment. And if you're having expectations based on someone else, let them know what your expectations are to avoid that disappointment. Just because you have expectation doesn't mean the person is going to live up to them. And most of the time, if you are having a lot of expectations, you get very disappointed. And I can testify to that. There are some things I have expected from other people. There have been times where I expected certain people to be there for me in my life, and when they were not, I was so disappointed, I was so hurt. And then I came to realize, like, just because I expected them to be there for me, they didn't know that they had to be there for me, or they didn't know what I was going through. So I had all these expectations, but I didn't tell them about it. And I don't think what they did was right. I still think they should have been there for me, because the people who meant a lot to me in my life. But at the same time, I learned from that. I was like, if I'm gonna expect something from someone, I need to let them know. Like, if I wanted to act a certain way, I will tell you what I can tolerate, I will tell you what I cannot tolerate, I will tell you what I expect from you, then I will also tell you how I expect to be treated. And if you feel like it's not how you can treat me, then you can just be on your merry way. So let your expectations be known, otherwise you might tend to get very disappointed. Lesson number 20 is that everything happens for a reason. And I don't think many people would agree with me for this, but in my life, whatever has happened, there's always been a reason for it. And there's so many bad things that have happened to me. Like, I went to God and I'm like, God, you said I'm your child, and you say that I will, like, you'll always be there for me, you're gonna guide me, and you're gonna keep me safe. So why is this happening to me? Like, what's the reason for this? And my conversations with God, especially when I am angry, I always say, like, God, I don't know the reason to this. I don't understand the reason why this is happening, and I don't think there's any good reason why such a thing should happen. And I'm honest about it. When I talk to God, I tell him about it. I don't pretend like it's okay, like I understand what the reason is. And then, like, 2 years, like a year down the line, or a few months down the line, I look back and I'm like, God, thank you for getting me through that point. And although I never realized what your reason might have been at that point in my life, now looking back, I can thank you, because you saved me from a great moment in my life. So that is how it has been for me. Whenever I'm going through a hard time, I don't see the reason to it. I lash out, I talk to God about it, I let him know of my anger and my pain, and then I tell myself, hey, you don't know why you're going through this, and you might not see the reason for it at this point in your life, but maybe in the future you're going to realize what the reason might be. And that is an antelope in front of me. It's an antelope in front of me, but antelopes don't harm me. Lesson number 21 is that it's okay not to be okay. And if you're going through a tough time, just take your time and feel bad about yourself. Feel bad for yourself. Hurt if you need to hurt. Cry if you need to cry. Get through that time. And don't expect yourself to be okay all the time, because that's not the reality. This is life, guys. You're always going to have moments where you're low. And don't be in a rush to make sure you're okay, because you'd end up pretending to be okay, but in reality you're really not okay. So it is okay not to be okay. Don't let anybody tell you to hide your feelings, hide your emotions, hide your heart, because the hard thing that you're going through, you need to let it out. And you're not always going to be okay, and you're not always going to feel sad or down. There's time for everything, and there's time for you to be okay, and there's time for you not to be okay. So if you're not okay, that's okay, right? It's okay not to be okay. If you're not okay, that's okay. Lesson number 22 is that don't settle. Like, just because how can I say this? Look out for what is best for you. Just because you cannot find the best thing at that point in life doesn't mean you should settle for anything that you find along the way. Don't settle for what is less than what you want, right? Like if you want certain qualities in a person, don't settle for other qualities. Like just because this person has this quality and I've not come across a person who has the qualities I want, I'm just gonna settle with this person. Don't do that, because when you settle, you're letting yourself down and you're not after what you really want. So go for what is best for you, what you really want, and don't settle for anything else. Lesson number 23 is that not all truths need to be said. Some truths you need to keep them to yourself. And you're gonna have opinions about people, and you're gonna have your truth, which might be the truth or it might not, but some things are very hurtful, so you don't need to say everything. You don't need to say all the true things that you believe. If you really need to say them, think about it hard and clear, but not everything needs to be said. Some things are better off kept to yourself than sharing with other people. Lesson number 24 is that life goes on and God is in control. I don't know how else to say that. And this also relates to having like the bad times in your life and the rough patches. Just keep in mind that good times will always come and they will always go, and bad times will also come and go. Life is about the good and the bad, and remember that God loves and cares for you way more than you can ever imagine. Lesson number 25, finally, I feel like my throat is dry, is accept yourself and others will. Be happy about who you are. Be happy about where you're at in this life. Accept that. Accept who you are, the good and the bad things. Write a list of the bad things that you don't like about yourself and accept that. And that's when people say that, oh, this is this, you're not good at such and such a thing, and you're like, okay, I already know that, but you don't bother me. And work on the bad things. Don't just write them down and leave them there. If you have a bad behavior, work on it. Accepting myself has been the greatest thing for me, and I'm happy that I was able to do that, and I thank God that He gave me the courage to accept myself and to know what is best for me. So there you go, guys. Those are the 25 lessons I've learned at 25. It is extremely long and my throat is dried up. I need to go drink water after this. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. And what are the lessons you've learned in your life at whatever age you're at? Just share your lessons in the comment section below so that we can interact about this. So bye guys, and I shall see you in my next video. And now let me go away from these coyotes and deers because I love my lifestyle. Bye bye guys.